welcome back to this lesson. We are still on the weak set. I know we've been talking about it, but then there are some things that you should know or be aware of when talking or working with the weak set in JavaScript. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the automatic cleanup. If you remove all references to a visitor object and set its value to none, then it will remove that object from what? From memory, and it will remove it from your weak set. This is what I'm talking about. Remember, there was a time when we remove when we were working with what we have. I think in about 2 lessons or 3 lessons or something like that. Now we made an object 1, and then we deleted it. We set its value to none. We first add it, and then we set its value to none. It automatically remove it from the memory, and which means that when it removed it, it was no longer giving us anything. It was no longer giving us any outputs. Do you understand? So let me just do this. Okay. Invalid assignment to const John, and that is because const does not allow a variable to be reassigned. So that is the problem. But what I'm basically trying to prove here is that if this John, what we have here, if we change it to null here, then it will no longer work because John would have been removed from memory. What will be left is just going to be Jane and Bob as our object variable for visitors. Now, not iterable. Weak sets are not enumerable. You cannot iterate over the values with for loop for each of values. Unlike the previous set element where you can use for or for each or for off loop, you cannot do that with weak set. It's not iterable. You cannot loop over it. Now, you cannot access the size. Weak set have no size property. You can also not access the size of a weak set. Unlike the way we were able to access the size of a set, you can't do that for a weak set because it has no size property. Now, it also has limited methods when it comes to working with weak sets. And let's quickly examine some of these. Now, a weak set is minimal, memory safe, and purpose built for tracking objects. So when you want to track, when you want to do something that does not, that does not need a lot of memories, and that memory can be provisioned from a use variable or use object, weak set is good for something like that, because the purpose of why we used it in the previous example is that it allows you to track the values of something that you are trying to do. You see, look at this part. This makes it handy for tracking objects without storing extra data like that. So if you don't want to store any extra data and you just want to get the value directly, it's a good fit for that. And that was the reason why we used it for that tracking example. And you realize that in that tracking example, it acted the way we wanted it to act by giving us the output that was expected from it. Now, a weak set is minimal, memory safe, and purpose built for tracking objects privately and efficiently. Weak sets provide a limited set of methods. Now, when you want to work with weak sets, it has a very limited number of methods, and here are 4 common ones that you always see. The first one is the new weak set. It creates a new weak set object. When you want to create a new weak set, you use a new weak set constructor. And the other one is add object. It adds an object to a weak set. You have seen that in practice. Delete object, we have used that one too. It removes a weak set object, and as object, we have used it as well. It returns true if an object exists in a weak set. Now, take a look at what weak set does not have. Weak set does not have a size property, so it cannot access the size. It has no spread operator, unlike the way you can use the spread operator that we talked about in array to spread values. It has no clear method. Any logic method like union, difference, intersection that are present in a set, those things are not present in a weak set. That's no logic method. Any iteration method like for each, keys, values, and entry, you cannot use it with weak set. So the above is by design. It's not a mistake. And the reason is because in garbage collection, objects may disappear. So it makes no sense to iterate over or count them. Now, if you know that the references to your object is weak and that it can disappear in the process of, you know, or in the process of compiling your program or running your program, it makes no sense to iterate over it, because if you try to iterate over it, and by the time your program gets to that particular reference and is in your code, your or the object or whatever it is has already disappeared from the memory to just read your course and memory, which is not going to make that process effective. And that is the reason why it is not iterable, because of the fact that objects in Weakset can be garbage collected, all for the purpose of managing memory and optimizing memory for the best use cases. So these are things that you should note or be aware of when working with our Weakset and JavaScript. Thank you. And in the next lesson, I'll see you as we continue.